We wanted to go see the pools. Which one was it? It was the Midway Basin?
Something like that. Some prismatic pool or something.
Right.
There's a turquoise pool and the opal pool.
Yeah. And, but trying to park was atrocious. So finally, while we were in line, I ran over to the bathroom.
I hopped in the driver's seat because she'd been driving, so we were in view of the bathrooms.
Finally.
They were right there, but we still had to wait to park because the parking lots aren't very big. So you gotta wait to park, which actually I suppose is probably a good thing because it keeps there from being too many people up on the walk up there.
Right.
Because even with the limited number of parking, there's still a ton of people up there.
A lot of people park on the side of the road too and then walk over.
Right, there is some parking up by the road too, yeah.
We did find a spot and we got to walk up the boardwalk and look at those pools, and they're pretty cool too.
Mm-hmm.
But an interesting thing, there was a breeze, and because the pools are hot springs, it's hot and steamy, and so the breeze would hit and you'd get this gust of hot and then cold air and then hot and then cold. And it was just...
It's really confusing to your system because you'll feel like a cool breeze and go, oh, that's nice, and then all of a sudden, like as soon as you're like relaxing and feeling nice, you get hit with the steam. Or you'll be like, oh, there's so much steam, and oh, cool breeze, oh, steam again.
Well, with the breeze, people were losing their hats.
Yeah.
One poor little
little boy.
It was probably 3 or 4, just a little guy. Poor thing, he was crying because his hat blew off, and you can't go get it,
No.
So, but he was a little photographer too. He grabbed his dad's camera and just
had it on the tripod, was taking pictures of us. It was really cute, yeah.
It was, yeah. So, and again, for the most part, people were either distancing or had masks on, but still, when you have a boardwalk, you have to pass people sometimes because you stop to take pictures, and so
it was nice and breezy out though. So
yeah,
everybody's keeping pretty much 3 or 4 feet.
Right.
But wearing masks for the most part.
And outside, and a breeze, and just...
So, I felt okay with that, with like the 3 or 4 feet, not having to be 6 full feet, because we weren't inside, and, everybody's wearing their masks, so.
But I can tell you, we got a lot of footage of those pools.
Yeah.
Because there was every time you walk,
beautiful.
you see a different color, or a different angle, or the bison footprints.
Those are really cool, yeah. And I think a lot of people missed those.
Right.
Because they're kind of subtle, and you're looking over at the pools, but down in the mud right near the boardwalk, you can see the hoof prints. And in some spaces, there's just a ton of them.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool.
Can't quite get both of us.
Okay, well, we'll move away. Reduce the size of the sign. There you go.
There we go. Hi.
Grand Tetons was a beautiful place to drive through. Again, every time you go around a corner, you just go, oh, look at that.
Yeah. Yeah, so the most annoying or frustrating things yesterday for me was what you were just talking about is, every time while we were driving, every time I'd want to put down the camera and just take a break from looking at the road, maybe get some reading in, we'd come around a corner and, oh, so it's beautiful, it looks so different, I need to get footage of this. Then I'd be ready to put it down again, and we'd come around another corner or over a hill and, oh, look at that view, I've got to get footage of this. It's just so beautiful.
And there was actually a point coming down the mountain, there was like a mile-long straight stretch.
Oh, yeah.
with trees on both sides and the Grand Tetons in front. And
Yeah, you wouldn't have expected that from a mountain road. You know, we've been curving around and around and around, and all of a sudden we come around and it's just straight for a mile, and then a little curve, and then straight again for a mile. Like, where did they find a straight spot in the mountains?
yeah, no, we've been doing a lot of curves.
Yep. Interesting place we stopped yesterday was the what's it called?
National Wildlife Art Museum.
Right. There's a lot of sculptures of wildlife and everything out front. The museum itself was closed when we got there.
Right.
But there's a lot of sculptures outside that we were able to take a look at. Lots of neat big metal sculptures.
Yeah,
both abstract or representational, but also some realistic ones.
Right.
It's really pretty neat.
Yeah, there was a wolf. I go, is that a wolf? Oh, okay, it's a sculpture.
Yeah, it's like, I hope that's a sculpture over there.
We wanted to see wildlife, but not up close and personal.
Life size, yeah. Might have been a sculpture of a coyote instead of a wolf.
It could have been.
We stopped at something with a J for dinner. I was thinking, it starts with a J, doesn't it? No, that's where we stopped.
It was dinner. Jackson, and it was confusing whether it was Jackson or Jackson Hole.
Right, I think Jackson Hole is the lake, but it might also be like a suburb. But on the map it says Jackson.
Anyway, we've been to Jackson.
That is a cute little town. Now that's a place that I would have liked to spend more time if we had time to kind of explore it. They've got a lot of really neat. It looks touristy too, so I mean they're made for tourists. But they've got some really neat buildings and looks like a lot of fun stuff to do
Old
there.
West.
Right,
that was in that town.
Yeah. But also being really touristy, I wouldn't have wanted to stop and do much there right now.
No.
There were a lot of people, and it didn't really look like a place where you could really get distance between you.
Right, and Wyoming didn't have a mask requirement, I don't.
Right, it was kind of either by the business or by the region, but not overall for the state.
So some places would have a sign and some didn't.
Now the restaurant we stopped at was really good about it. They were really particular.
Yes.
So they had signs on the door, and all of them were wearing masks.
Hand sanitizer on a table as you walk in,
and a box of masks. And they had tables that had signs on them that said this table closed, so make sure there was distance between everybody.
Right.
And good food. Fast service. My goodness, we got our food so fast.
Oh, yeah.
We were there at about 5 o'clock though. Between 5 and 5:30, so it was like right at the beginning of the dinner rush.
Right.
Because as we were leaving, like when we got there were only like maybe 2 tables.
Yeah.
As we were leaving, a lot of people were coming in.
Right. And even when I went to pay, the cashier sanitized my credit card before she even touched it.
Oh, okay.
And then after she ran the credit card, she sanitized it again and gave it back to me.
Nice.
Or set it on the counter, so I could take it.
Nice.
So.
Yeah. And they were all wearing masks, and when the waiter came to check on us while we were eating, he stood a couple of feet back and checked, because obviously we had to take our masks off to eat. And so when he would come over and check on us, he would stand back a little ways. I thought that was really nice of him. And he was wearing a mask, but we weren't, so
Right,
give us
'cause you're eating.
space.
Yeah.
So that was, I was really impressed with that restaurant. So I don't remember what it was called.
Chinatown
Chinatown restaurant, right?
in Jackson, Wyoming.
Right, we were still in Wyoming.
Still in Wyoming. There's a lot of Wyoming, and we got a lot of good film.
We did, and we zigzagged around Wyoming, so we ended up spending a lot of time in Wyoming.
Right.
We're finally out of Wyoming. It's beautiful, but we didn't feel like we were making any progress. So now we're in Idaho Falls,
Yes.
which we really did not look at all at Idaho Falls, so I don't know what it's like out there.
It's pretty much a crossroads
Oh, yeah.
where a lot of highways come together, and then I-15 comes through. Where are we going next? Okay, so we are heading south. We're gonna go spend the night in Tonopah, Nevada at the infamous Clown Motel. Hopefully, we have to call for a reservation still, so.
Really excited about this.
You gotta know our family, but it's the perfect place for us.
We're kind of excited about this. This will be something to like tell people we stayed at the Clown Motel.
We're in Idaho. We'll see you on the road.